and to be nominated for Grammy for that album, and knowing that, Glenn, he's just another member of our band.
I first met Glenn, came down to Gat3. There were some guys that cut a album called Candlewick, and they called me and they wanted me to do some guitar overdubs and stuff for their album. And walked in and met Glenn, and I'd been in a lot of studios, and got my guitar out and started playing. And Glenn came out into the room and set my mic up, and right away I knew he was setting up the way he set up my mic. He was doing stuff different than other studios I've been to, and so I played a little bit, and he came out, listened to my guitar, and then he said, "Hey, you want to listen?" So I went in the control room, listened. Just blew me away. It was what I was hearing when I was playing the guitar, and I just fell in love the way he did stuff. So we worked on that day, and I got his number and everything. And in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I want to cut an album there someday. And so when I got home, I told Amanda, I said, man, I have found a studio. The studio. And so we happened about that time, which had been around 2000, I guess. We got a record deal with Rebel Records, and I told them, I said, man, we found a really good studio down in Charlotte, Gat3 Studios, and I said, I got a great engineer, and we want to, if we sign with the label, we'd like to cut there. And so that was the beginning of
that was House Down the Block.
Yeah, and I think we're on number 10 or 11, I think.
Yeah.
Project that we've
here.
cut here, and it's always been. That's the thing I've always loved about coming down here is you always try to make a better album,
the one
before. You try to have a better performance, and then what I noticed after our first album, the second time we come down and did our second album, Glenn approached it totally different. He had different mics on my guitar. Everything was different.
Just as we tried to find better songs, he was always trying to up the game on the sound.
And we always said, man, that's the best album that we've made. And then we do the next one, and it just kept getting better. And one thing that people noticed too, after we were getting pretty heavy play on XM. They started, noticing the quality, not only the songs and stuff, but the quality of the recordings was pretty noticeable, And so I always thought, Tony Rice had, his engineer was Bill Wolf, which was a great, all those years that Tony recorded, he had Bill Wolf, and, I thought, man, I've got my Bill Wolf, I got Glenn,
Yeah, I mean, Madelenn was 2 years old when we came here. And watched Julia be born. Y'all are family. Man, went through losing Kenny's dad right before our gospel CD. And I'm so glad that he decided to go ahead and come here and cut the gospel album right after that, because it was really good to be around y'all after a really hard time, one of the hardest times. And to be nominated for Grammy for that album, and knowing that, Glenn, he's just another member of our band. He's not with us at the shows, but man, every time that record, we get a spin on the radio. I mean, that's part of our sound. He's part of the band. He's the sixth member of our band.
There was a lot of stuff happened with the gospel album.
Satan did not want that album to happen. I think he knew it was going to be, with going through all that beforehand, and then being with y'all, who we love a lot.
I remember we was recording that album, and
a lot of stuff happened.
Something was on fire on the roof.
Yeah, and we thought the building was on fire. So Glenn was like, I think Kenny was cutting a break or something, or doing something, or singing. I don't know what he was doing, but anyways, I was in the restroom, and Kenny goes, grab the guitar and the tapes or whatever. And he's like, and I went and grabbed Amanda, which, that's fine. We always laugh about that. Glenn always cuts a big joke about that, because he was like, I was third on the list, which that's okay. It's all good. But that's one of the funny things that happened during that album.
We've seen a lot of, went through maybe 3 consoles, I think. We're on the third one now. We've cut on
several amazing microphones.
Yeah. That was
I get to leave here and tell people that I've sang on a mic Prince has sang into. I mean, not many bluegrass artists probably get that opportunity to sing into a microphone Prince is singing to. Maybe so, I don't know. But now we've been recording here over 20 years, and I feel like it's just a fine oiled machine. I feel like recording-wise, now we're at a point, it's so exciting to come here, because you know that I know it's going to be, as long as my voice cooperates, everything else is set. I mean, I can go in there and it's so much fun, because it sounds so good. And I've said it several albums that if my voice held up, I would erase it all and sing it all over again, because it's just that fun to get to sing here.
All the years that we've come down here, I've always amazed at the creativity, and especially that room. That room is it's pretty special.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of stuff just for us happen in that room, and knowing, the stuff that Glenn's got to cut here and the folks that's come through. I mean, yeah, it's quite an honor to get to be here. I'm grateful.
I was always amazed too. Was just how different it was at this studio, as far as how things were run, and it wasn't ran that we got you done, so we're on to something else.
Yeah.
It was never like that, and it always feels too when we come down here. It's like, man, we could be gone for a year or a year and a half, and it's like
we never left.
And it's like we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah. But to me, it's the same 20 years ago as far as how they were. I mean, they were the same way, even though they didn't have the Opal room yet, and some of the stuff, they were still that same mindset. And that's what's brought them to this point. And it'll be different. The next 10 years, there'll be something crazy go down cool, because they're just those folks. I mean,
it's just really easy to be creative here.
Yeah, you don't even have to. When I'm singing, and he knows, he can work on my songs, and he'll pick and do things that I would do, and even better. Some things I wouldn't think to do. I'm like, wow, that's a good idea. Or same with when Kenny cuts guitar breaks. They don't hardly sometimes say anything, and it's just this, I don't know, this beautiful dance that happens that it's really unexplainable. I just think it's meant to be.
Yeah, I'm always bringing old guitars in there. Got a good friend, Gary Burnett, that he's let me borrow 2 really vintage guitars, and for me to record with down here, and that's always fun for me as a player. But I know Glenn gets a kick out of it too, because one of the guitars we had in here, it was a 1933 Martin shaded top, which was the only
one made.
It was only one made. It was one of one, so that guitar was special. And then I thought that might throw him a little bit, but it didn't, and he just adapts and then makes it work, and that's the way it's always been. It's just really been a godsend for us to come down here.
Yeah, you make bad decisions in careers or good ones, and this was a good one.